Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kanguru Chat. This is the podcast series that we do to share authentic stories and experience for international students in Australia and fresher who trying to looking for job in Australia. So hopefully this series will help you to gain more experience and find a better job in Australia. And today I'm very proud and happy to have our guest of honor today. Thank you, Albert, for coming today. And I think you are the most senior guest that we invite to the show so far.
Well,
Thank
that's an honor to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me to start off with.
Yep. So maybe to start with, maybe you can give everyone a little bit of the story yourself.
All right. Well, I was a student at Monash University. Started off doing a Bachelor of Engineering degree in 1971. And one of the main reasons I chose engineering was because my father suggested that it was a very good thing to do. But once I started engineering, I found out that I really wasn't suited to it. So after a first year of just passing, and that's after having final year results of being first class, I became a zero class student because engineering didn't relate to me. And my father gave me a pep talk and said, no, you keep going, you're just going to get used to it. But I found the second year was even worse than the first year. So what I did was, which didn't happen a lot then, I disagreed with my father and I changed to science degree and doing a computer science degree.
Oh.
And I graduated in 1974 and I started off as a programmer with a third generation language called COBOL, which doesn't exist anymore. So I started life as an IT developer and I worked for the government. I had 4 offers and I chose the one that paid the most. There was nothing about values or nothing about futures. I just solely did what most students do, picked the job that paid the most, and that was a federal government job with the Department of Employment. I rose through the ranks there, and after 8 years, I was a level of the most senior technical role you could have, but I got bored with that. And I left. I had 2 years to run to get long service leave, but I didn't wait for long service leave. So I left and I started contracting independently, offering advice around creating tenders, evaluating tenders, and implementing the solution. And I had 3 assignments. One of the last assignments was with a Victorian government department called Land Data, and that was the forerunner to what we call now, which is the electronic exchange of titles, PEXA. Then, through some good luck, I ended up at Price Waterhouse in a permanent job to join their advisory group. Only within 3 months of joining their advisory group, what happened was there was a change of leadership at the top and they changed direction and they were going to become more like systems integrators rather than just advisory. And the new senior partner had decided that some of the people who had most recently joined would be let go, and that included me. However, what had happened in the meantime while I was there was that I had developed a relationship with the executive recruitment group, because traditionally they had always recruited CFOs, CEOs, senior executives, but they were doing more and more IT work, but they weren't comfortable with IT and they would rely on me to give them advice. And when I was looking for something else to do, they said, well, why don't you come and join us? And I said, oh, well, maybe a year in recruitment, but I'll go back into IT and contracts and evaluations. Well, 1 year turned into 30 years in recruitment.
Wow.
So the interesting thing about that is fate, or luck, or serendipity, whatever you want to call it, turned me into a direction that became very important to me, very rewarding to me, and really suited my personality and my outlook on life. So at Price Waterhouse, I was doing permanent recruitment. But my first year on my own was a struggle because I had never sold before. I'd never gone to a client to convince them to do something, to persuade them. So that first year was really a year of learning, not just how to recruit, how to ask questions and how to evaluate candidates. In the end, that's easy. It was really how to understand who I was, what I had to offer, and how to persuade, how to develop a relationship with someone that you don't know, and for them to trust you and to give you work. So I spent a year doing that, and I went through various stages, but it took me really 12 months to understand that. And what I developed a philosophy, how I would do business, was to treat my candidates as the most important thing in the world, right? Not the clients. It's interesting because the clients pay you the money. But to treat candidates and to get to know candidates and to really help them, you are really helping your client.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that was a learning year. That was 1992. So I went to the leadership team and I said, I have an idea. I don't want to just do permanent recruitment. I want to do contract, temporary placements as well. And we had a conversation about, well, that's not Pricewaterhouse style. Pricewaterhouse's senior executives offering advice. You've got contractors who come in for 3 months and go. And I said, yes, but I'm not going to pretend to be the senior people. You're going to have projects. And sometimes when you have projects, you don't have the right people at the right time. So why don't we use contractors, and let's put an evaluation system so we only hire the contractors that fit in with our culture and values. So let's make sure of that. And as a bonus, why don't I also then develop a marketplace outside of Pricewaterhouse with other clients? And I can keep the branding separate. So we created a title called Data People, and that's what we did. 30% of the time I recruited temps and permanents for internal, 70% of the time external. The way I launched that was to look for a big client, one that would take many. So instead of placing one person here, one person there, one person there, which takes a lot of effort, let's put a lot of effort into one client who would take 60 people. And that one client was Telstra. Now, not all of Telstra, but the mobiles division. They were setting up their mobile billing system. They bought a product from Israel, and they were going to tailor it.
Yep.
And they needed people. And in fact, the interesting thing is that one of the people who helped select me and PW, Pricewaterhouse, to be one of the suppliers, subsequently became a very good endorser, supporter of me within Telstra. She led the mobiles division, and subsequently, even 25 years later, in 2018, she introduced me to international students to help become a coach for them. So we went from 0 contractors to roughly maintaining 120 to 130 contractors. We would make 5 or 6 permanent placements a month. And that took us through to 1998. And that was a really important year because Pricewaterhouse merged with Coopers and Lybrand to become PricewaterhouseCoopers. Yep. And the senior leadership came to me and said, 3 months before the merger was supposed to go through, we've been meeting, we've decided recruitment and contracting doesn't have a future in the new entity. So we want to sell the business, but we want to see whether you want to buy the business because you built it up. Sounds only fair that we should offer you first opportunity. And that's how Paragon was created. I bought that business in July 1998. And I bought it on very good terms because, I was part of part of the family, so to speak. And then Pricewaterhouse became a client. We kept Telstra. We developed some new clients. From 98 to 2015, ran that business. And probably in that period, everything up until then was always up. I never had it down. 92, 98, it was up, 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 up. How easy is this? Everything I touch, oh, gold. Oh, gold. 2001, dotcom crash.
Yep.
Yeah. So from 125 contractors, within 3 months, we were 80 contractors. But it was something that was good. What do we have to do? So a natural reaction, I didn't learn this straight away, but cut costs, of course, cut costs. But the thing is, cutting costs in the end doesn't ensure that you stay in business. It gives you more breathing space, but you have to work out how you make sales.
Yep.
Sales is the secret, not cutting costs. So instead of saying, oh, the market is depressed, it's too tough, we can't do anything, that's when I got a coach, my first coach. Because I knew I needed to change how I was thinking. I was thinking, it's bad, everything is bad, it's going to be bad. So what you think about, you create. Of course, then it's going to keep going bad. So when I got a coach, she helped me see, well, look at avenues, look at different ways of doing things. And what we did, we started to do things like 2 contractors for the price of 1. So it's not discounting because you have to take 2 people.
Yep.
Yes, you're not making as much money, but guess what? You maintain the relationship with that client.
Okay.
Right? You understand what's going on. All the information that your contractors pick up about the future helps you plan for the future. We did things like that. We did things like, don't let us just recruit. We can do everything else for you. Or we can do only this, or only this, or only this, unbundle. Do you want us to just do reference checks? Do you want us just to advertise and handle the inquiries? Do you want us just, so we unbundled and charged for little components? So that got us through for about 9 months, and then things got better and we were well placed. So during those 17 years, I had 4 ups, downs, up, down. Each time I got better at managing it. The person I was at the start of going into business was, if I get to this level, I'll be happy. And that's how it went. I got to this level, I was happy. But the thing is, you don't have to be greedy and say, I want more and more and more, but you have to understand the world does not stop still. The world always changes. And even if you're happy, you have to do things differently next year and the year after and the year after to stay on top of things. Otherwise, you will go down. You won't stay there. So you can be happy, but you can't stay the same.
Yep.
Because things always change. Always. Small things, big things, it's always changed. It's like, you know, everyone says, yeah, don't worry, things will always change. But it's true. We say, no, they won't change that much. Today was the same as yesterday. I bet you there's been some change. Hard to pick up. And over time, everything changes. Now, what are we going to do with AI? That's a big change. And we're still learning what to do with AI. So 2015, I sold my business to a bigger company, not a well-known company. The idea was I would go with the business and help this new business grow for 12 months, and then I would leave. And the owner of this other recruitment business had other interests, and he wanted to dedicate his time there. But what happened over those nearly 19 months was that even though we agreed on everything, even though we thought about how we would do business, there was a difference of values. And instead of being collaborative and cooperative, things didn't just work out. You know how you try and make things go like this?
Yeah.
Well, things are going like this.
Yeah.
And I got pneumonia because of the stress. and I got pneumonia badly. I took nearly 3 months to recover. So I didn't complete my 12 months. I didn't earn all the money that I expected to earn from the sale, but I earned some of that money. And since then, what I've been doing is not working full time.
Yeah.
I've been working 3 days a week, and those 3 days have been divided between helping international students, and I'll explain how I got involved in that, coaching ordinary people, local people who are looking for career transition, and helping a couple of young CEOs with their IT services companies. And almost equally my time split. I got introduced to international students through a lady called Belle Wong, who was my supporter back at Telstra. She knew a young lady who developed a coaching business, Infinity, and they would coach young Chinese graduates or early career people. So I got involved in that, and I worked out, wow, people are listening to me. If I say do this, they're doing that. If I say do this, they're doing that. And they're benefiting. I can see, they got an interview, they got a job offer. They're very happy. And then staying in touch with them, because we all think, it's important, get my CV, get an interview, get a job. But it's not. Stop. Once you get a job, getting familiar with the Australian work culture is actually harder than getting a job. And that's what I discovered. So I've kept in touch with a number of those graduates of mine and helped them with acclimatizing to Australian work culture. It's similar to American, similar to United Kingdom, but different. Different attitudes. And I found people from Asia expect something in Australia, and it's always a little bit different than what they expect. You know, it's a bit more egalitarian here, but there are cases when it's not so egalitarian. We all talk about how we're all enlightened, but there are some bosses who are terrible. And getting used to that and understanding that and what does it mean. And one unusual thing that I've found is that there are so many idioms in business world in Australia that don't relate to people from Asia. So one example was, well, let's go through two examples. One is, I'm going to give you this assignment. I know you haven't done this before, but I'm going to throw you into the deep end. Right? So throw you into the deep end. To many, what does that mean? Well, it's short for throwing you into the deep end of the swimming pool. If you can swim or can't swim, it's up to you to work it out.
Yeah.
So, I understand now. Or someone would say, Eric, don't do that. That gets up my nose. So what does that mean? That means, well, you're irritating that person, so don't do that. So many little things like that are important. And especially when you're with your manager and your manager's saying something and you don't quite understand. I found many Asian students or graduates pretend that they've understood.
Yep.
Then they go away and try and do the problem, but it wasn't the problem that the man asked them to do.
Yeah.
And then that's worse.
Yeah.
So the best thing, and maybe we'll cover this later on, would be, look, I understand most of it. This is what I understand, but there was some part I didn't quite get it. Can you explain it again, please?
Yeah.
Or if there's one word that you don't understand, don't assume that you know what it's going to mean. Ask, because that is more important than pretending you know. And in fact, the person that you're asking isn't going to be upset. They're going to be pleased that you're clarifying what the task was, instead of going away, wasting 5 days and then coming back and things not being done. So that's one of the things I've discovered, and one of the things I really encourage is to ask. And the other thing is what you're doing now, taking notes.
Yeah.
And one of the disciplines I really like is to have a journal.
Yep.
So taking notes is good because then you can go away and summarize them. But at the end of the day or at the end of the week, writing what happened to you and what you learned from that week is so magnificent. And my oldest daughter is a great example. She now has about 75 A4 books from the day she started working till now.
Wow.
of what she's learnt, you know. So some weeks could be hardly anything. You might just say, well, I learnt how to organise my schedule because I did this and I did that, and that's something I'm going to remember in the future. Or could be something documenting, I had a really deep and meaningful conversation with my manager about my future. What we decided was to do this, this and this. Because we all say, I'm going to remember, but we never remember.
Yep.
Where there is too much information to remember. We haven't got enough space in our brain to remember everything. And a journal is a way of getting it down. And you read back your journal once a month, you read back your journal in 6 months, you look at what you wrote and you see how you've grown. It helps you grow and helps you develop that growth mindset. And it makes you remember that you don't know everything and you're never going to know everything. And that's how I am where I am now. Probably 80% of my time now is spent coaching. And that's what gives me the greatest joy. Seeing people who you can see their eyes opening, their mind opening to what you're helping them with. And it can be something practical like how to write a CV, or it can be something about writing a journal, which is something that could be a lifelong piece of advice. It could be something like asking questions. It could be something like, oh, goodness knows, there's so many different things. And you develop relationships with these people. So one young lass that I helped, she was getting married. Her parents couldn't come from China, so she asked me to be father of the bride, to be de facto father of the bride.
Wow.
Right? I've had many other students who rung up, end up with a job. So have we got time for all these stories?
Yeah, sure. Keep going.
So a young man, I helped him. So this is the interesting thing about students and asking for help. Albert, how much will you cost? I will cost this much. Yeah, I need 6 lessons. What if we have 2 lessons? Okay. We have 2 lessons. We work on the CV. CV's good. Gets interview, gets a job. I didn't need the 4 lessons. No, you didn't. But what you missed out on was how to adapt in the workplace and how to do a few other things. But that's okay. You had financial difficulties. That's the way you managed it. That's okay. If he had have taken on the 3rd class or the 4th class, in that class we would have covered not just how you go well at interview, but how you interview the employer, how you find out whether that's the right employer for you. Not just because here's a job and I will jump on it because I mightn't get any more offers. I'll quickly take this job. I don't care. It didn't sound exactly what I want, but I don't care. I'll take this job. So in the 3rd and 4th lesson, we would have discovered how to interview them, how to check up on them, how to look at Glassdoor, how to look at people on LinkedIn who've worked there before. If you know someone who knows someone that you could ask, because he only lasted at that company 3 months because they worked him like a slave. And he would have found that out if he had done some research. So then he came back because he earned some money and he finished off all his lessons. All right. He finished off his lessons. The next job he got was with the ANZ Bank. Wow. He's been there 3 years. And he's kept in touch and he has a lesson every 6 months. This is what happened. Did I do the right thing? What should I do now? How do I make myself better known? How can I get promotions? How do I network? I learned how to do this networking, but I think I can do more. The other thing, actually, that just reminded me, one thing other students have all been worried about is, how do I make small talk? Because they've understood that small talk is important. And I said, I don't like that phrase, small talk.
Yep.
Because every conversation you have with everybody is important. So there's nothing small about it.
Yep.
Everything you say is part of a brick in a wall that builds a relationship. How do you make those kinds of conversations? By being curious, by asking people questions. How long have you been in this company? Where would you work before? Did you always think you were going to be a developer? Are you looking for... Just be curious.
Yep.
Do you have a family? Are you married, not married? Do you like the cold weather? Do you like the warm weather? Be curious. That is a fundamental. Be curious. Be interested. Don't pretend to be curious. Be genuinely curious. People can see if you are pretending, being fake. So be genuinely curious. Be interested in that other person. Now that's a fundamental human thing, not just for job searching and developing relationships at work. I mean, that's how we should be with everybody. Curious and warm and inviting. But not everybody is.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing now. So helping students. I've been helping some friends, sons and daughters who are at a position where they go, I'm not happy. I don't know why I'm not happy, but I don't like doing what I'm doing. I want to do something else. How do I do it? And everyone really knows what they need to do deep down. They just need a little someone to just push them a little bit this way or push them a little bit that way.
Yeah.
That's all. Listening, and they're just guiding them. When they get stuck again, this time, instead of guiding you, push them a little bit and make them understand what they're thinking about. And what I like is getting everything out of here onto paper. Get your thoughts out. Empty your thoughts, and then you'll be better able to analyse what to do next. And everything revolves around networking. I really encourage people to network. And there should be a better word for that. Connecting and colliding is something that a friend of mine said we should use. Connecting with people and bumping into people. Because to me, when we say networking, it suddenly becomes, well, that's something I have to do to get something. That's not what I propose. So what I propose is I want to know how many people I can help who may be able to help me. So it's got to be that way first, like karma. You have to give to receive. So that's what I like to encourage. Most Asian students, Asian individuals think, oh, networking, I'm shy, I'm reserved. You're not shy and reserved.
Yeah.
But you had to learn not to be shy and reserved. But maybe you had a natural talent to do that. But we all have that talent. We don't all have to have 100,000 contacts. But instead of having 0 contacts, we can have 50. Instead of 50, we can have 100. Instead of 100, I can have 200. And that's so important from a job search point of view. And we don't network just to find jobs. We network to learn to become better people, to be more tolerant of one another. But in a job sense, if a job is advertised on a job board, I can guarantee there'll be 300 people applying for that job. But what if that person in that company who had that vacancy said, and they do this, I wonder who I know or who the team knows that we could invite to come for an interview. What if you knew that person who knew that person who knew the team leader? And the team leader says, who knows anyone who can do this job? They go, oh, I know Albert. Albert's. All right, give him a call. You're not competing against 300 people. You're competing against yourself, whether you're the right person or not, whether that job's the right job for you or not. So networking is something that is so critical. And to do networking, you have to have a good command of the language. So one of the things students do, which is a natural thing when they come to Australia, is they stay in their little groups. So networking should start happening as soon as you come here, not in your last year before you graduate, not just after you graduated, which is everybody, I should network now. Imagine if you had networked beforehand, and instead of competing against 500 other graduates for a graduate role or an intern role, the people you know have put you in touch with someone who's got an internship or a graduate role. It makes such a difference. And you stand out from everybody else who hasn't developed that ability to network. You are distinguished because it's noticeable, because you speak better, you make yourself understood. The person who's meeting you goes, wow, how good is this? So I think they're the things that stand out for me.
Wow. Yeah. I think, like the first thing I think of after I listen to your story is maybe I have to invite you one more time. So, like have more in-depth story, because
Okay.
like so many things I can pick up here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the way you elaborate things, the way you communicate things in a very calm and slow way, and you break down everything, I think it's very easy to listen, very easy to comprehend. And I think that skill is not many people can do, because like normally people speak very quick, very fast, and try to jump on this point to this point to this point, and sometimes it's like very difficult to follow up.
Yes.
But the way you share about your story, the whole thing from like you were a student in Monash, and you select the wrong career according to the father advice,
Yes.
and then you come till many years till now. And I think that's one of the skill, telling story, how to communicate, how to sharing to others, very important. And I think it's one of the most important in the leadership skill. And so that's the first thing I pick up. And the second thing I want to ask you, as a curiosity of myself.
Yes.
So why are you still working now? And what is your drive? What's the motivation? What's the story behind that? I myself, like I'm so much younger than you. May I ask, like, how are you?
72.
72. So maybe I'm half of your age.
Yes.
So, like for the past 2 years, I have to, like wandering around the world, visit different person, friends, and maybe mentors, different cities in the world, to find out like what I'm gonna do.
Yep.
Because like for financially, I have a goal before, but fortunately, I feel like I reached that goal.
Yes.
And thanks to, like in the past few years, I learned about Buddhism. So the key of Buddhism is like lower your ego.
Yes.
So when I lower my ego, then I see a lot of desire I had before that, like unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
And then, like I have a talk with a friend yesterday. It's like, you don't have any, like desire about like buying luxury things and cars, big house, or watch, or things like that. Yeah, but I don't have. So I have all the money I make is much more than I can spend. And I don't have any desire to spend. So at that level, I feel like I'm financially freedom. And all the work that I tried to do before just to reach to that level. And like in Vietnam, we have like a line. We put a line for the kids. Like in education, is like you have to have a house, you have to have a good job, you have to have a car, you have to have a wife, you have to have 2 kids,
Yes.
a boy and a girl. One day, I see that I have all of that, everything. Like one day when I'm taking shower after my wife like on the second child, and she was a girl, I have a boy before, I just feel like I have everything. Yeah, so from that moment, I feel like I would like to share.
Right.
I would like to share. I feel so lucky. I would like to share. And then it takes me about 2 years to find out what I'm going to do next in the rest of my life. And I just say like, I'm a visionary guy. So I can, like, I'm like an AI. I can calculate things. So with all the things that I'm doing now and I see in the future, my life in the next 50 years will be a little bit boring.
Yes.
Yeah, because like I don't know what to do. Yeah, so
Well, I think people like you will find something to do.
yeah,
And I don't think your life will be boring, but I think finding Buddhism was good.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not a Buddhist, but I
yeah,
read about
yeah,
religions and spirituality. And the dogma associated with most Western religions is all around rules,
yeah,
whereas Eastern religions are more about philosophies, right? And that's important.
yeah. Now,
What motivates
yeah,
me
yeah,
is to help people not reach their dreams, but give them a chance to feel comfortable so they can do whatever they want to do. If they want to reach their dreams, that's fine. If they just want to find a job, that's fine. If they
yeah,
just want to do whatever they want to do, if I can make that a little bit easier, that's fine.
yeah.
My parents came from Albania. All right, they came here after the Second World War. They were refugees. I was born here. I'm lucky. I've never known to suffer. My parents were in jail. My grandmother on my father's side was in jail because my parents escaped from their country. They stayed in jail 15 years. I had an uncle who died in jail. I never saw him. Why is that important? That's important because I realise what my parents went through, and there weren't the support in those days when they came here in 1951 like there is now for people. There was just locals at university. There weren't people from other countries. So the world has changed. But I can relate to people who've come here who are very courageous. You were courageous when you came here as a young man to do university away from your family.
Yeah.
That's courage.
Yep.
That's mental courage.
Yep.
And to be able to cope.
Yep.
And to do well. I like to help people who want to do that and make them realize that the courage that they've shown to do that is the courage that they can use to find a job.
Wow.
Is the courage that they can use to do more than just find a job, to deal with situations, to grow, to start a family. How then do they relate to their origins? How do they bring what's good to help change society here? Because that's what's happening bit by bit. That's what motivates me. Basically.
Yeah. And when did you find out about that? Like that drive?
Little bit by little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, little bit by little bit.
Yeah.
Being in recruitment, you get to meet a lot of people.
Yep.
And when you meet a lot of people, I am curious.
Yep.
And most of the people that I meet that I help, I formed a relationship with.
Yep.
Sometimes a relationship that I talk to them once a week, sometimes a relationship I talk to them once a year.
Yeah.
But it's still a relationship.
Yep.
So I'm meeting someone on Tuesday that I met who was my second contractor in 1992. We're having lunch on Tuesday.
Yep.
That's 33 years ago.
Yep.
There are plenty of other people. What happened? His son is getting married 2 weeks later.
Yep.
He's going to tell me about the speech he's going to make, and we're going to maybe change it around a little bit.
Yep.
That's what happens.
Mm.
So if you have an interest in people, like this, what you're developing, because in the end, what you're going to be doing, this is very basic. Why are we here? We're here because we don't need to know the reason, but because we are here, we have to help one another be here. Now, 3 days a week, I like doing that with everybody. 2 days a week with helping my son, who's 2 young children, helping them both have to work, take grandchildren to school, pick them up, have one day, do all those things, and then 2 days for myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And are you planning to do this
I will
until
retire
you? Yeah.
the day before I pass away.
Yeah, I just have the similar goal for myself. Like now I'm not wondering to find like what to do next. So I have a little bit of the few next idea that I'm
Yes.
gonna do.
Yes.
So the company I'm building now is like try to reach maybe 100 millions, and then after that I have a few another ideas waiting for me.
Yes.
And currently a lot of projects I'm doing. So I start feeling like like a lot of excitement ahead.
Yes. Yes.
And like one day I also watched a video of a very successful guy in Vietnam, and he said the same thing. My goal is to work until I die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's quite interesting to me.
Yeah. And the work isn't the same work I did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's to keep active and be contributing in one way or another.
Yeah.
Because in the end, whatever spiritual being we believe in that has us here, that's the only thing we can do, help one another. That's the only thing.
And the way you manage your time now is like you only schedule or booking with the coaching section or the work section in the first 3 days or 2 days a week,
Well,
right?
usually I try and do it on a particular 3 days.
Okay.
But sometimes I don't do it on those days. I do it on the weekend.
I see.
So to be flexible, because some people are working, it's too hard for them, and
I see.
and my time is more manageable. So, so this Saturday morning, I've got 2 students. And what's happened, the one blessing from COVID is that we don't always have to do these things in person now.
Yeah.
We've learned how to use Zoom and Teams so we can do coaching.
Yeah.
It still isn't quite as good as in person.
And what you gonna do on the day you spend for yourself?
Well, usually it's something to do with music.
Yeah.
So I play guitar.
Oh, nice.
And what I've started to do now is start to write songs.
Oh, nice.
It's taken me a long time, but I've started to write songs and make songs. I like reading biographies, so I do a lot of reading. Hopefully I'll find a couple of hours to look after my vegetable garden, to grow my own vegetables, because I think everyone should grow their own vegetables. And yeah, just do that.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I think, like when were you start, like have the habit to spend the time for yourself?
Yeah, well, it's that's a very good question. Usually I try and do Sunday afternoons.
Okay.
I mean, spending time with my wife is important as well.
Yeah.
My wife's mother is still alive, and she lives with my in-laws, so we like to spend time with family as well. That I didn't mention that explicitly, but that is part of spending time with ourselves, because everyone's got a close family.
Yeah.
The discipline is what comes first is usually helping people, right? And what comes second is time to myself. But there are times where I just go into my study, pick up my guitar, and I play. Yeah.
You play classic or like you?
No, rock and roll.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Yep. I think that's a great thing lesson to learn, because I see so many people nowadays, they focus too much on one thing and they forgot so much important things.
Yes.
So for myself, like the first thing and the most thing I try to do is try to keep my health. Like I play a lot of sport. I used to play a lot of golf. Now I train in love with pickleball. Yeah. So normally I try to play at least about 3 to 4 times per week.
Yes.
Yeah. And now, like before, when I was young, often when I go to the sport, just straight away to play. But now I spend 50 minutes to warm up. And then I spend another 10 minutes after the play to stretch out. So I used to have an injury in my knee, and I had to do a surgery with the string like 15 years ago. Because of that incident, it slowed me down a lot. I used to run very fast and very strong. I was playing soccer one of the strongest men in the team, and then I'm fearless. Like
Yes.
very big ego, very like like when I see the goal of what I should don't want to pass at anyone, right? So like from a lot of experience now, I see that in order to enjoy life, in keeping in health to do other things,
Yes.
then the health should be the most important thing. And before, like sometimes I have a lot of work schedule. Sometimes I addicted too much and I schedule too much,
Yes.
too greedy,
Yes. Yes.
and I don't cancel. But now, if I don't feel well, then I try to reschedule the meeting,
Yes.
or like I try to cut off some days to relax, because I know that like if my health is not good, I cannot do the work well, and I cannot do other things.
Yes.
So I like I have a small kids, so like
How old are they?
one is 4 years old boy and a 2 years old girl.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they grow up very quickly, and so one of the most important thing for me is spending time with families. First is my kids, my wife, my parents-in-law, my brother, cousin, things like that. A lot of people in the circle. And then now work I try to mix, thanks to I have an entrepreneurship. So like I can do every single little block. I can work, like when I drive the car, I can make some call, start a meeting,
Yes.
deliver tasks for the co-worker, like talking to partners, investor. A lot of things I can do in the small block. When I bring my kids to the kindergarten, watch him play, he don't want to play with me.
Yep.
I have like 15 minutes, 30 minute blocks to like do the emails and everything. So that's how I mix in everything. But I also have the philosophy, how to prioritize,
Yes.
how to do things. Yeah, and I think that the big lesson you do when you grow senior, and I myself, I think I hope that many young people they can do as well, because like time is like one of the most treasured resources.
Yeah. We can never get it back.
Yeah,
We can
and many people I see, like especially international student and fresher, like you have to live sometimes far from home, far from the parents. And I see many of my cousin, my relatives, like they live in the US, and the mom got cancer, right? But because like he living too far and he have a job, he have family, the kids have education there, so like they have to ask like the mom, you try to stay strong and then wait for me. Next year I can come, the kids can come. So that's the encouragement. The family in Vietnam encourage the mom to like you fight with the cancer.
Yes.
In order to meet the kids, because they have the school.
Yes.
Yeah, so I see like so many like conflict and controversial things in that.
Yes.
So I think it's a good privilege. You can always design your life, and like you can decide like where you should spend your time. And so many ways to do that right now. Like recently I donate for a school in like a small village in Vietnam, in a mountain. And the guy who I donate for he is a travel nomad. So he's a very smart guy. He graduated from Cambridge University, and then he worked for a company in Europe. But like he travel around. He traveled to that village in Vietnam we call Mù Cang Chải. So that village, like he have a habit, like just small habit to teaching the kids there, and it become, like his job.
Okay.
Yeah, he loves it so much, and the kids that don't want him to leave, so he already stayed there for 3 years.
Wow.
So first it's like 1 week, and then become 3 years. And he showed me his like small apartment there in there, that the view with the village and everything is like a penthouse.
Okay.
So it's a million dollar view, right? So, and it's got about maybe less than $200 per month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like he make money overseas.
Yes.
He's still working. He's a computer scientist.
Uh-huh.
So he worked for IT company overseas, making good money, spend very less there. And most of his time when he not working for the company, he teaching the kid, he helping the school there. So I just feel like he living his dream life.
Yes.
Yeah. So I see like so many ways the war now also create a lot of stressful things. But if you know how to live, then you can control.
That's
you
right.
can have a much better life.
I think that's important, that
Yeah.
don't let life happen to you.
Yeah.
Try and organize what
Yeah.
you want your life to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are always some constraints, but I think that's the attitude. And there are some people who sort of give up and just say, well, whatever happens, happens. It's out of my control.
Yep.
But it's not out of my control. You mentioned something about, I started off in engineering, but I went to computer science.
Yep.
Many Asian students come to me and say, it's very important I pick this job because this is the job I want to do forever.
Yep.
And I say, have the attitude that you're going to learn in this job.
Yep.
And you're going to pick up many skills. Many skills are not technical skills, but there are all these other soft skills that are important for you to learn. But your career may be over there. It mightn't be over there.
Yep.
And the perfect example for that is my brother. So my brother's 5 years younger than me, and he's a lot smarter than me. He went to university. He went to high school. He got honours in high school. He got into medicine at Monash. And the family's going, oh, we're going to have a doctor in the family. Yay, he's going to be a doctor. All right, so he did first year medicine. He did well, but he didn't like it.
Yeah. And he changed.
Second year medicine, he liked everything except he couldn't stand to do anatomy. It made him sick. So he changed. What did he change? Biochemistry. It's all right, I can become a scientist. So he did biochemistry. He graduated. He didn't want to work in biochemistry. What did he do? He said, oh, Albert's in computers. Maybe I'll do computers. What do you think? I said, well, do what you want.
Yeah.
All right, so he did computers. He did a 6-month course. He ended up working for a business in IT. He worked there 4 years. He goes, I hate this. I don't want to do this. What am I going to do? I'll go back to university. I'll study law. So he studied law. Everybody else was 21, 22, 23, or 19, 20, 21. He was 28 or 29. He was an older one. But he graduated, and guess what? That's what he became, a lawyer. But your path to the future isn't a straight line.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you've got to have the goal over there that looks like it's a straight line.
Yeah.
And what happens when you get deviated and you change over here, you actually change your goal a little bit too.
Yeah.
But you still don't go to that goal. You still deviate and you end up over here.
Yeah.
But that's the attitude, to say, what am I thinking? What am I doing? What do I like? How am I going to react? And that's why networking is important.
Yeah.
Knowing people, because people will sometimes, you can discuss with them, what do you think of my idea? Oh, yeah. And you'll hear different points of view, which you absorb and you understand, and that modifies your thinking.
Yeah.
And you end up somewhere.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And like the funny thing is I'm also Monash alumni.
Yes.
Yeah. And like when I first enrolled in Monash, my major was banking and finance.
Uh-huh.
The reason is I also asked my dad, hey dad, what career should I follow that makes the most money?
Yes.
And chill.
Yes.
He said, if you want to make the most money, like managing money is the way to do it. So, and at the time, the banking finance in Vietnam is very hot, very popular.
Yes.
And now nobody wants to work for the banks. Yeah. Because like so stressful.
Yes.
Like I have a lot of banks approach me to put, hey, you have money in this bank, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Can you move to my bank? Can you put more here? Can you use as investment? You want to buy our bonds, things like that. And I asked them the question, what's the difference between your buying and another buying? So the sale told me, to be honest with you, we have no difference.
No difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you just support me as a sales, as a person.
Yes.
So in my opinion, I tell to all the staff that if you are working for a company and it have no difference to other companies, the difference is just like yourself. So you have to put yourself as a product, and you have to start trading off your time, your service, and everything in order to gain the customer. And I think that's a worst scenario for the employees to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, and back in the time when I was first enrolled in Monash, like 10 years ago, it was the hottest job, and everyone chasing like that. Yeah, so I think like the way now I see why we have to go to the university, why we have to learn. I think the reason behind that is just give you an opportunity, encourage you to try, because like now you go to university, you learn like how to networking, how to make friends, how to discipline, like comply assignment, and you learn one skill about like one major, right?
Yes.
So maybe in the future you don't do in that major, but like you know how, and then you can learn from other things.
Yes.
So now every year I learn something new. Like I learn how to ride horse. I learned how to, like I have a plan to go to Mongolia to ride horse. That's why I learned how to horse riding. So now I can ride horse for few hours, no problems.
Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah. I learned how to, like speak Chinese. I can play 4 instruments. I play pianos. I play guitar. I play in the band.
Yes. Yes.
I also compose. Things like that. So, like a lot of things I learned. And the reason one of the things that I share with you, like in the future after I already doing that, but I haven't formed that as a company, but I already have an idea, and I bought a domain called eh50.vc. .vc. So it's a venture capital, and I put my name the initial of my name, Eric Ha, and 50 is like the 50 years left of my life. I expect I'm gonna stay like 85 is okay for me.
Yeah.
And 50 is like I try to invest and create 50 great companies.
Good on you.
Yeah. So every year 2 companies, then maybe after 50 years I can reach to that.
Good
Yeah. So the reason I go investing is like before I was talking more, and I love talking still now, but now I love listening more. And I feel like like my first company till now is like 11 years.
Yes.
And if I were there, or now I don't have to be there, I think it's running still smoothly.
Yes.
Still making money for me. And the team and everything, I build the culture, I build the organization, I build the direction. And now I have the leaders to improve that every day. So even without me, it still can running. And I just feel like, like it takes 10 years to create that thing. But now if I go investing, like every 1 hour with a new guy, new founder, I feel like I live a new life.
Okay.
Because I can, after 1 hour of listening to someone, now I can feel like I can see the whole life of him in the past and in the future. So, like go investing is like I can live thousands of life.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the reason I decide to go to investing. So now when I like go deep about the listening, it's not about eyes and ears, also feeling heart. And I can imagine like if I were in that person, like I live I grow from poverty, or I have friends or relatives are in a tough condition, what would I do? How I feel?
Yes.
And in the future, this guy doing this one, but with his potential, how can the person in the future, how can he be? Yeah, how would it be? And companies, so I imagine a lot of things. So I just like loving to do that. like 1 year I meet like 200 people, like asking for like investing in,
Yes.
in my company and things like that. And every day I have message from LinkedIn, email, and everything. So just feel like so many lives to live, so many excited story to hear. Yeah.
And that's why being organized is so important.
Yep. So I can do a lot of things. Yeah. Right. So a lot of lesson here. I think one of the lesson I want to ask you more is, so say if an international student or a youngster, like they come to meet you or they want to networking with the higher level, higher value people, right?
Yep.
Like maybe CEO from companies. So how can they do that? How can they exchange value? What's the key element to build a relationship like that?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy answer, and it depends on the individuals. However, I think the starting point is always to have a good command of communication skills, and communication skills are the language, right? So have a good command of the language, have great listening skills. So being an active listener is very important. And as you suggested, listening is more important than speaking. And then just having that courage. The thing that most people, whether they're locals or foreigners, is the courage to do something. It's like riding a bike. When you first learn to ride a bike on two wheels, what happens when you get on usually? You fall off. You try and pedal, but you haven't learned to ride the bike, so you fall off. You get up, you try again. You fall off. Get up and try again, and eventually you will learn how to ride the bike.
Yep.
A bit wonky. Eventually you'll be super fast and you'll go very well.
Yep.
But it doesn't happen straight away. And the same with networking. The same with, Albert said to be curious. I know to be curious, but what does that mean? And how do I be curious? Well, the first time you're going to not do the best, but you're going to be kind to yourself and you say, wow, what did I learn? I learned to take a deep breath. I learned that the first question I should ask is, what is your name? How do you spell your name? Or something like that. I'll remember that for next time. And then the next time you do it and you get better. So the first time you're going to do this, you don't do it with the CEO.
Yeah.
You do it with someone else.
Yeah.
A colleague that you don't know. Maybe you're in the lecture theatre and the person always sits there. You always sit here. You never talk. Well, go talk to them and learn how to do it.
Yep.
So when you get a little bit more confident, try a senior person. So talk to your professor. That you don't usually, the only time you listen to your professor is when he gives a lecture. So go talk to him. All right. Go talk to someone else who's a little bit more important. All right. So why don't you then follow? If you really want to make your target, your goal to talk to a CEO, follow the CEO on LinkedIn. What does he or she say? Follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 CEOs because they are different personalities. So which one, after you follow them for 6 months, do you think you can relate to, or what they say and post makes sense? And then send a message. What's the worst that could happen?
No.
You get a no. Does that change you? No. It says, next. Who am I going to talk to next? That person didn't want to talk to me. It's their bad luck, not your bad luck. Their bad luck. What can you offer? If you're worrying about an exchange of value, well, you've got your life experience to offer. Because what if they market goods to Southeast Asia? You could tell them why they're popular or not popular. You could give them some insight. You might even have an idea, because you've been following them, about maybe they should have a different product. What if the product was a smaller size or a bigger size? Whatever reason you have. All you have to do is just think about what you interpret as data when you read their LinkedIn posts or other information from newspapers, and then be creative.
Yep.
So yes, you have to do some thinking,
Yep.
and you have to have some courage,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to build your prowess, your skill. Don't start thinking that you can do it straight away. So build.
Yeah. I just, after listening to you, I just pop an idea. If I were in the position of the students, for example, I want to connect with someone like me or like someone like you. So what would I say, right? So maybe for me, like they know that like I do a donation in that school, so they can start like like, hey, I saw your podcast
Yes.
and you mentioned about this school. It's coincidence that I happen to be there, right?
Yep.
And then I learned that the kids everything like this.
Yep.
And if you have the chance, I would love to talk to you to discuss how we can help them better.
Yeah.
Right. So and for you, it's like I have an idea. It's like you mentioned about like playing guitar,
Yep.
or like growing a garden, right?
Yes.
So I said like, for me, it's like I'd love to grow a garden, and so I try to planning everything. So I would love to like talk to you about like how to do it properly.
Absolutely.
And things like that.
Because you got to remember, everybody,
Yep.
CEO or the person who's just joined the company, they're all people.
Yep. So I think the reason I'm thinking of this approach is maybe like we can turn it into theory. Is like try to pick something like they are interested. That's the first thing, and maybe not their expertise.
Yes.
The reason is if you pick a topic with the expertise, maybe you don't have something to explain.
Yes.
So for example, if like they talking to you, hey, I want to discuss with you about coaching.
Yes.
Right? Then or HR, right? Then you will think like, okay, these young guys maybe have nothing to explain with me, right?
Yes.
Or like they want to discuss with me about investment, right? Or like business. So maybe I don't see anything to explain there.
Yep.
I would like to discuss with equal or higher level, like from me, right?
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
maybe pick something, maybe like you analyze them. They have this one, maybe they have like 9 out of 10 in the level of 9 out of 10. So pick something maybe 1 or 2
Yes,
out of 10. So maybe you have some room to extract information, right? So and like I also have another question for you is, what if someone I meet, I don't feel a lot of curiosity, like like just feel like I know everything about them, right? So what would I do, right?
Yes.
So like normally like when I meet someone new, I ask them for 1 hour,
Right.
and I feel like I don't have any more curiosity about them. But like someone I only ask a few questions, I know already, or yeah. So what do I do? Or even in the situation, like no, if like curiosity is one of the emotions,
Yes.
right? So
Curiosity is one of the emotions. So one of the things say, so if we met today for the first time and we arrange this, I'd say, well, have you been to Australia before? Is this the first time you've come to Australia?
Okay.
All right. What do you think about Australia? Have you been to Sydney as well as Melbourne? People say that there's a lot of, competition between Melbourne and Sydney. And if you go to Brisbane, Brisbane's a lot more humid than Sydney and Melbourne. What do you think about that? Do you intend to travel to other countries as well? Have you been to other countries? How would you compare Australia? So there's one thing. Then you could say, I notice you're wearing glasses. Yeah, I notice a lot more people wear glasses these days. What do you think? Do you think a lot more people wear glasses? Or do they wear contacts now because contacts have become so easy to wear? Do you stay here often when you come to Melbourne? What do you think? That 5 years ago, this place didn't exist. Curious. There can be any things. We're in a room. Do you like this kind of room? Or there are other places that have bigger rooms. We could talk about, do you always fly to Australia with the same airline, or do you pick the best price? Does that make sense? I mean, there's a million things. What kind of books do you like to read? Do you like to read fiction, or do you like to read self-help books or business books or biographies? Why?
I think like for me is like when I meet someone, I try to gain something new. Like if either like a business purpose, I want to learn something new. So I think I only like of curiosity with someone. I don't feel like I will learn something new. Yeah. So yeah, but I got your point. So try to pick up something
Pick
new
up
to
something.
learn.
That's right. New to learn, which mightn't be exactly what you want,
Yeah.
but that gets the conversation going.
Going. Yeah.
Because that's the important thing to get conversation going.
Yeah.
Yep. And then listening is important, because listening, don't start thinking of what question am I going to ask next.
Yep.
Wait for the answer.
Yeah.
So that there's a flow.
Yeah. About regarding the same topic, we are talking about networking. So you mentioned before you have when you work in the HR field and you learn you have to build trust with the client, right?
Yes.
And what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate
Yes.
more details on that? Yeah.
So I'm trying to think where's the best place to start a story. Let's go into CVs. I've probably read 60,000 CVs. Right? Now, you know what most people say in their CV? I have excellent communication skills.
Yeah. It means nothing.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
I don't even read. I see those words. I don't read them.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So give me proof.
Yeah.
Give me proof. I could say to you, I am the world's best opera singer.
Yeah.
But I'm not. But I said it to you.
Yeah.
Do you believe me?
No.
No. But if I said to you, I'm the world's best opera singer, on Spotify, my songs have been downloaded 25 million times.
Yeah.
On Apple Music, it's 35 million
Yeah.
times. Then you go, Then you go check. And you go,
And you listen. Yeah.
yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah.
So how can you do that with people?
Yeah.
How
So
can you do that with people?
yeah.
Don't forget what you were going to say.
Yeah.
How do you do that? You can't do it like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like
Yeah.
that. It happens with the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It happens when you say, I'll be there at 10 o'clock, and you turn up at 5 to 10.
Yep.
If you turn up at 10 past 10,
You already late. Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
It happens, we have a meeting. I'll send you the minutes of the meeting by 12 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Did you send it by 12 o'clock?
Yep.
Oh, I trust him. He's reliable.
Mm-hmm.
All these little things
Yep.
build up. Do I trust that person or not trust that person?
Mm-hmm.
If your conversation, you can tell stories.
I see.
I am the best recruiter for technical systems programmers. I placed these people in this company, this company, this company. You can talk to the managers if you like, or you can talk to the candidates. So that establishes some credentials, and then the proof is checking up.
Mm-hmm.
When I deliver something on time, when I turn up on time, when I deliver the right kind of message, then that's the proof that I'm reliable. If I'm true to my word, whatever that word is, that builds trust. So trust doesn't happen just because you say, trust me, I'm trustworthy.
Yep.
You got to show it, deliver it, prove it.
Yep. So in the CV, if instead of put the word like I'm good at communication.
Yes. Make the CV a good communication tool.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So structure it properly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use adjectives that mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're going to say that you're a good time organizer, don't say I'm meticulous. To me, I just read over those adjectives.
Yeah.
Because they mean nothing.
Nothing. Yep. Yep.
They mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So just give the facts.
Yeah.
All right. But the real secret into a good CV is, what are they looking for? Analyze the job. One CV can't apply for 25 jobs, even if the 25 jobs are all called the same title.
Yep. I see your point.
Now, a graduate or an early career person doesn't have as much experience to say, I've got that experience that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But they can still tailor it or customize it as much as possible. the project work that they did during their course. If there's something that's relevant, talk about that project more for this CV. But this project isn't important for this job, so don't talk about it as much, talk about something else more. In your profile, your first paragraph shouldn't be career objectives.
Yep.
I'm looking to become a data scientist.
Mm-hmm.
The employer doesn't care.
Yeah.
The employer wants to know, what can you bring to be useful in my company?
Yeah. So what would they supposed to say in the?
They're supposed to say, what are they looking for?
Yeah.
You feed the words back to them of what they're looking for in your profile.
Okay.
But not to be a game,
Mm-hmm.
because if that's not what you're looking for,
yeah,
it still won't mean anything. Your heart's got to be in the words you write.
Yeah. Can you give an example or something you like particular interesting CV you see or you coach? Yeah.
So just before I do that, a lot of recruiters, not all recruiters, because not all recruiters are good recruiters.
Yeah.
All right. So sometimes candidates have to put up with bad recruiters.
Yeah.
But good recruiters like to see the most important statement is the profile, the summary at the top, the executive summary, like for a report.
Yep.
The executive doesn't have time to read 2 pages. You're just going to read that. So we're going to come back to this. What I do like to see when I have time is, did this person have some internships?
Mm-hmm.
The more internships, the better.
Okay.
Did this person do part-time work while they were studying? Because that shows good work ethic. And maybe they had rich parents who put them through school, right? But maybe if they had a part-time job, that'd be more ticks.
Yeah.
Because they can manage their time to work and to study and get good results. The good results isn't the most important thing, but that they studied, they organised their time, they were able to do everything, and they finished university, and they came from overseas. That's impressive. What does the summary say, the profile? The profile, you've got to write it so that as if the person who's reading it has time only to read that profile. And they're going to make up their mind, should they interview or not interview that candidate? So what does the job description want? What are the most important things in the job description? Read the job description 5 or 6 times. Do one of those cloud bubbles, that says how many times are the words mentioned. The words problem solving is mentioned 6 times in this advertisement. 6 times. What else is mentioned? Reliable is mentioned. So I have to put together something that says to this person, I'm a problem solver. So I've graduated. Imagine this person has not had a full-time job. They've just graduated. Graduated with a Bachelor of Economics, having honours in this subject, undertaken so many projects where my problem-solving skills were put to the fore, held part-time jobs. In particular, I did problem-solving. So you organise it to highlight those words that they're looking to see that you have experienced, and you put it in that profile. It should only be 8 lines, 9 lines, 10 lines, something like that. It can be with bullet points. It doesn't have to be in paragraphs. But you're trying to prove, what you're trying to do is make them interested enough to read the rest of the CV. It's hard to come up with a perfect example, because the way I do it when I coach is to say, we're not going to start with your CV. We're going to start with analysing the job. The job, usually when they advertise, if they're good recruiters, have 3 parts. 1, I call the propaganda section. Propaganda is we're a fantastic company. You love to work with us. And that is half true. All companies are good and then bad, and then good and then bad. So just understand it, because you need to understand it. But it's propaganda. Part 2 is, these are your duties. This is what you'll do every day.
Yep.
Part 3 is the most important. Part 3 is the selection criteria. That's what you pay attention to, the selection criteria. And that is what you should address in your profile and in the rest of the CV. The selection criteria are important because when HR helped the hiring manager put together the job description, the selection criteria become the way they work out who to interview, when they interview people, how to assess people against those selection criteria. If this is a government job, they go even further. They create a matrix: selection criteria, candidate, tick, tick, no tick, cross, or 9 out of 10, 6 out of 10. They go through and weight selection criteria. Now, the problem with that is a methodology that's used, but it's a bad methodology. It's a bad methodology because imagine a company says, right, we've got to create a job. We need a new job. It's going to be graduate level, maybe 2 or 3 years experience. We need a job description. I haven't got a lot of time. Get that job description that we used last year for graduates. Make it generic and let's use that. Now, what's the problem with that? It's generic. When that candidate goes into that job's going to be doing something specific project, specific tools, but we've got a generic job description. So here's my advice saying, answer the selection criteria in that job description, but they're generic. So you do your best. 500 other people apply for the role. It's too hard for you to be the best candidate. That's why networking is important. Right? Imagine if everyone got coached by Albert, all the 500 students, and they all do the same thing. And the thing is, we fit into a bell curve.
Yeah.
We're all pretty close to one another.
Yeah.
There's 5% who are brilliant, 5% who aren't so brilliant, and everybody else is in the middle.
Yeah.
So what we could do, if I had 500 applications, I could put everybody into a big basket.
Yeah.
I could close my eyes. I could pick 20, and there'd be no different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it's difficult. You need to do what I coach. Need to create a good CV, right? Because this employer may be one that doesn't use a generic job description. You don't know what happens on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
On the employer side. So you have to do your best.
Yeah.
If you did networking and ended up with an opportunity, you could actually ask the person. So this is the best scenario. You meet someone, you're networking. What are you looking for? Well, when I graduate, I want a data scientist job. Oh, that's good. You're really good at data science? Yeah, blah, blah. Exchange. This person goes away. His father works at say his friend's father works at a bank and they're going to look for some data scientists. He says, oh, did you know my dad's going to look? And he comes back and he goes, hey, I got a friend whose father, I'll introduce you. So they meet. And the father goes, yeah, send me your CV. Yeah, we're going to have some. And you go, I'm not going to send you my CV. Can you answer 2 questions for me? Oh, I thought you'd be happy just to send your CV. No, but okay, ask me the question. And this is to do with curiosity.
Yeah.
You say 2 questions. If I'm successful, what will I be working on? Oh, well, we've got a project where we put all the graduates to analyse the data that we collected 5 years ago that we haven't had time. It's really about consumer sentiment. Oh, really? Why didn't you analyse it 5 years ago? Oh, because we were just too busy. And in fact, we changed our minds about the product that we were thinking, but now that's come back. Okay, what kind of product is it? Okay, what kind of team are you going to assemble? One question leads to another question, leads to another question. This is not on the generic job description.
Yep.
This is from the person who's got the job.
Yeah.
This is his problem. The
Yeah.
problem is I need people to do this, and he's telling you, go, and you're writing everything down.
Yeah.
Right. So second question. Oh, but you already asked 10 questions. No, that was one question. I just followed up.
Yeah.
Second question is, in about 18 months' time, what will I be doing?
Yep.
What will the job be in 18 months' time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, by that time you would analyse this. We'd still be working on that project, but we might give you some other projects, and you follow up questions. So now you've got an idea of what the immediate requirement
Yep.
is and what the future could be.
Yep.
So you say to yourself, do I want to apply for this job first? Yes, I do. Let me summarise what they're looking for. What are they looking for? They're looking for someone who can do an analysis. They're looking for someone who can clean the data. They're looking for someone who then can report the data and present. They want someone. These are. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that. Where have I done that? Well, I did this project. I did that. Well, they're the things I'm going to mention in my CV.
Yeah.
So the requirement you got it yourself because you weren't competing against anybody else. It's the real requirement. It's not the generic one that's in the job ad. So now you've drawn a bullseye, the target, you got your arrow and you're shooting it straight to the bullseye. You're hitting the target.
Yeah. Amazing. I think like I pick up in your story and your sharing is first is if you are in the like if you're not in the top 5% and you are in the medium, maybe if you are the bottom 5, maybe you have to go upskill first.
Yes.
To the middle. If you are staying in the middle, so try to do how to advance is try to networking, how to put yourself in the one-on-one situation or one-to-many.
Correct.
It's like you go to the events or you attend competition, and then the judge might be your future boss, right?
Yeah.
So you have the chance to present yourself, not just a CV, because your CV will look the same as 1,000 CVs,
Yes.
right? So that's why you have to networking, and if you see the job description or the recruitment post online, you know how to analyze.
Yes.
And the better is if you have the networking, you have more insight to understand more about the job.
Correct.
And then you can customize your CV accordingly.
Accordingly.
Right? So you have an inside intel.
That's right. You're giving yourself an advantage.
Yeah, advantage. Yeah.
You're giving yourself an
advantage. So what I learned is the job market now is very difficult. And I think this I also want to mention is about the mindset of you telling that the world is going to change, not going to stand still, changing every day.
Yes.
And like when I learned about Buddhism, it's like it's not changing it's changing every single small moment.
Yes.
So like we are here, exchange information. I learned so much from you. I already changed.
Yes.
It's not just like waiting for
Correct.
one day or the next year.
Yeah.
And when we're staying here, our self is like moving.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things is happening in the body.
Yes.
We just don't see it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the mindset is I read a book before about like a psychologist. He wrote it. So the first thing he wrote in the book is about discipline. So you have to have discipline in life, and you have to understanding that life is difficult. So when you are born, normally you're crying, right?
Yes.
Because like you're not familiar with this atmosphere, right? You're very comfortable in the womb of your mother, and then you come out, it's already difficult, and then you start crying. So I also trying to teach my kid is like that. It's like no easy, right? So, but like if you see that as a wave and you're surfing, so it's gonna be enjoy, right?
Yep.
So big wave, no problems. I find a way to surf that.
Yes.
So that mindset in the beginning is very important. So you know that you are in a running competition, right? So all the tools that you're sharing combined with that mindset is a pack, right?
Yep.
How you can advance to other runners, right?
Yep.
Because like if you don't run, then you will fall behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I always tell my my employees, and why I go invest is no matter where you start, if you know how to run and if you're hardworking runner, eventually in the long run you will surpass a lot of other like runner with a better
Yes,
position in the
yes,
beginning,
yes.
right? So that's why I go invest, because like I often select someone who may be not in the good position in the beginning,
Yes.
but I see the potential
They
of
can
a
run.
good runner
Yes.
in the long run, in the
Yes,
10 years,
yes,
20 years.
yes.
And if I invest them in this time, I have a good price.
Yes.
I have a good chance to join the company. But in the next 10, 20, 30 years, he surpassed all the other
Yeah.
better position
Yes, yes,
runner. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Very good words.
Yeah.
The word discipline is interesting because
Yep.
sometimes it conjures ideas that it's a negative, you've got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Discipline is just being organized.
Yep.
That's all discipline is. Right? And recognizing that what you want to achieve, you need to have time allocated to certain things.
Yeah.
That's all discipline is.
Yeah.
It's just being organized.
Yeah.
I think the thing is we always got to remind ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not something, now I'm disciplined, I'm going to be disciplined forever.
Yeah.
We always got to come back to that point and be redisciplined again. It's not discipline like that kind of discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think you also learn this because like you are such an experienced coaching. Is like after I learned about coaching, I think like they need a dictionary about future words, right?
Yes.
So everyone understand words differently because of the culture, because of the bias, because of the experience they got, like attached to the words.
Yes.
So one word is like, and communication is like developed like a few thousand years maybe. So it's cannot translate everything we trying to say. So I always like the best way to understand between you and me is like plug in one thing in my head and one thing in your head, and then we can completely understand what we are trying to say, right?
Yeah.
But like, so the word is like, if the different, many people, even myself, sometimes like when I have a word that trigger, I feel like take out my freedom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like control me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything, the ego is going up. So like coaching is like trying to change the narrative, change the way to like put the words for the
Yes. One interesting thing that I've observed in coaching and the people I coached is that women seem to be more coachable than men.
Oh, okay. And do you know why?
I got no idea why. But they seem to be more enthusiastic about trying something.
And I think maybe they have better listening skill already.
Probably.
Yeah.
And maybe males have got slightly more ego.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but not only that, but my most successful students, probably 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Women to men.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe, like maybe the nature of a woman is like nurturing.
Yes.
And man is providing. So, like in the instinct is like they ultimately they have a better listening skill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe too, I think women mature a little bit sooner.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
5 years, at least 5 years more than men.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if I saw the same young man, in fact, I do have an experience. I can't this changed my line of thinking. I can't express how important having a part-time job is while you're studying.
Mm-hmm.
Because this one young Chinese boy finished his accounting degree. He wanted to be an auditor.
Yeah.
He then worked as a cashier, right? Checkout.
Yeah.
And he worked it while studying, and then he kept that job. They said, oh, well, you haven't found a job, stay with us. And you can pack some shelves and you can do other things, keep earning money. And he kept earning money. So some people are looking for a job, and that's all they do, look for a job.
Mm.
They don't earn money.
Mm.
Earning money is good for the soul.
Yep.
you're providing value, you're getting paid for that value, you're contributing. You're contributing because you're learning English, you're using English. English is going to be the language you're going to be interviewed by. What a great thing to do. You're actually developing your listening skills, because in Australia, we have so many different nationalities speak English and speak English differently.
Yeah.
Different accents.
Yeah.
How do you know who's going to interview you? It could be someone from South Africa. It could be someone from America. It could be someone from India.
Yeah.
If you can listen and understand the question, you have a better chance of answering the right answer.
Yeah. I talk to a lot of international students, especially Vietnamese. And from my experience, I worked for a lot of part-time jobs before I got my first professional job. Is like outside of all the good objective that you gain from the part-time job, is one key important thing I always tell parents and international students is, if you go for part-time job, you will know how hard it is to earn money. And then you will cherish the opportunity that parents send you here, because they pay a lot of money for the school.
Yes.
And you don't want to fail the subject, right?
Yeah.
You maybe work for 3 months or maybe more than a month to earn maybe $2,000, right? And then you fail subject, then you have to, that's gone.
Yes.
Like 1 month, like 100 hours of like washing dishes.
Yes.
Or like wages, right? A lot of things like gone in just like if you fail subject.
Yeah.
So they understand how hard it is to. The biggest lesson I learned after I did so many part-time jobs. I was a dishwasher, I was a waitress, I was a coffee seller, I was a newspaper delivery, and put a junk mail in all the houses, maybe put in jars.
Yeah.
So what I learned is gaining money is so difficult, and it's also happy after like I getting it, and I don't want to do it the rest of my life. So I want to do, I have to do something else.
Yes.
And I have to learn, I have to try to do something else. So after all the jobs, I got the job in Vodafone. And then every day, I was a sales intern at Vodafone. And after 2 years, I became the assistant manager of the most effective Vodafone store in Melbourne at that time. And I feel so lucky, because now I can every day I sitting in a condition like air conditioned office, watching newspaper, calling the customer, and I got like $200 per day.
Yes.
Right. Before I go dishwasher, $8 per hour.
Yes.
For 10 hours, I only got $80. And they put me in a box, right? And it's a very small box of the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And then when I go outside, I see the bird and I see everything. I see the world so beautiful. So that all the lesson from the part-time make you feel more grateful when you go to the professional job.
So whenever I meet students who aren't working, I always suggest that they find something, even if it's a volunteering job.
Yep.
To do something useful. You just learn so many things, and sometimes you learn things you don't even know you're learning them until later on it makes sense.
Yeah. I think like we talk a lot from your story and the skill you already mentioned. I think like I have more questions, but I think it's gonna be taking maybe a few episodes to do this. So I hope next time I come to Melbourne and I could invite you again here. So now maybe I will ask more about like from you as a coach and you as an employer, right? You also a recruiter. You're such a great guest. So
all
many
angles.
perspectives, all angles. So what would your advice, what you're looking for the like interns or the fresh graduate what's their advantage, what's their disadvantage. I would like to listen to your perspective about that.
Well, the most important thing to me would be communication skills.
Yep.
We've covered that a little bit already,
Yep.
but that really is important. And
Yep.
if I was interviewing somebody, all my questions wouldn't be, do you have good communication skills? But whatever the questions were, I'd listen to
Yep.
their communication skills.
Yep.
Firstly, whether they understood the question,
Yep.
and how they answered it.
Yep.
I'd look to see how comfortable they felt.
Yep.
I want to see if they initiate conversation or if they're just waiting for me
Yep.
to do talking.
Yep.
So showing initiative, having that degree of comfort, being comfortable rather than being like this.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I've noticed is sometimes people who are nervous or uncomfortable, their voice gets stuck in their throat.
Yep.
And sometimes you have to
Yep.
get a little bit closer. So they're all negative things, little things like that. So being comfortable, comms. When I ask them questions, I really want people who are problem solvers. I think one of the most important skills you can have is to solve problems. So I'd ask them, the problem could be whether they worked out how to get from point A to point B using public transport. What's their initiative? And then I would listen to how they explained that for their comm skills.
Yeah.
So problem solving is very important. And I'd like to know what they think about things. I'd like to know, I don't want to be political, but I like them to, do you think you like music? Why do you like music? Do you think you read books a lot? Why do you read books? So if I ask them about what kind of hobbies do they have, I don't want them to make up what their hobbies are. I read books and I go to movies. What are your real hobbies? What do you really do when you have time to yourself? And why? All of that is to see whether they have problem-solving skills, initiative, feel comfortable, and whether they can communicate. Because if you want an intern, that's what you want. Want an intern who can speak up for themselves. We don't want interns who are slaves. Do this, do that, do this, now do that. We want interns, if you say, can you do this? They go, okay, do you want me to do it this way or do you want me to do it that way? Would you like a red one or a brown one? What color red, a deep red or a light red? So people who can ask questions, right? Who can really take a task or problem and narrow it down. People who admit they don't know something. Right. So like I think we mentioned before, if you don't understand something, say, I've never heard that word before. Can you explain what that means, please? And then write it down and with the meaning. Or if you don't understand an expression, can you explain that again? I haven't heard that one before. That is so important. And when I'm interviewing, I haven't done this for a few years, but when I'm interviewing, I use some idioms to see whether people understand them or not, and whether they ask me or not. And 50-50, And that person who asks stands out. They distinguish themselves.
I totally agree with you. That's a lot of things to learn. I watch a master class on the master class app. The guy who teaching is like used to be the like he worked for the police and CIA about negotiating with the bank robber or like criminals like that. So he talking how to negotiating and communicating. He said to me something that I deeply learned is like maybe 10 to 15% of the communication is like I listen to your words. Your words is like only contribute like 10 to 15% of the comprehensive. Another 30% is your tone. So if you are calm or like you are nervous and everything, you said you stuck in the throat, right? So another 30%, and the rest 60% is body language. So I think it's a big lesson when and then also the students or the fresher had to practice, like you said, like it's like riding the bicycle, right?
Yes.
Learning how to ride a bicycle. So how we can stand, how we can talk, how we can use body language, how we use eye contact,
Yes.
how we remain calm and can control the tone
Yes.
of voice.
Yes.
So the words we are trying to talk is only count for 15%.
Yes.
So even I work with I invest in some founders. They are now expand his business overseas and they don't know how to speak the language. So the language sometimes is not important, right? So if, they have the body language and they have the tone and everything, they can speak a very simple words, but like the other person, they understand and they trust.
Yes.
Then it's fine.
I agree
right?
with you 100%. I mean, I've spent probably one session on body language and tone because simple things like if you go for an interview, you should have your notes.
Yep.
And you should have the questions you're going to ask.
Yep.
Here. In the conversation, if one of those questions happens to be answered before they ask you, have you any questions, you go, and you do it physically.
Yep.
Oh, that one. They say, oh, he's so organised that he's going to ask this question, but he's wiped that off.
Yep.
Now, that's subconscious, but that happens.
Yeah, it's body language. They're receiving the information from your body activities.
Instead of you saying, when they ask you...
I'm very organized. You can cross that. Correct. And they already received the information organizing.
And then at the end, you go, any questions? Go, yes, I've got a few. We answered a couple of them. I scrubbed them off. But I've got these 5 more questions.
Yeah.
Right. So another thing that's interesting is when you say, I'm passionate about blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Passionate.
Yeah.
So how do you describe passion?
Yeah.
By your body language.
Yeah.
So if someone asks you a question that you
spark,
you spark and you move.
Yeah.
And you lean forward and maybe even go like this.
Yeah. Because I cannot sleep after reading this book.
And I do this and I do that. When the problem's solved, it's so good.
Yeah.
That's passion.
Yeah.
Not so. Yeah. Are you passionate? Yeah, I'm very passionate.
Yeah.
I get so passionate. Yeah. I'm passionate.
I'm passionate about food. And then you said yesterday I just had a bowl of pho. And it's amazing. Yeah, things like that, right? So you show how you
correct. You show it.
Yeah.
Like we said, practice, but practice to be natural, to be yourself.
Yep.
So practice reminding yourself, don't think it's an interview and this is serious and you have to be serious. It's important, but be yourself because that's who they want to hire.
Yeah.
Because that's who you're going to be in the job.
Yeah. Like one funny things when I do the podcast series is I observe like I invite different kind of guests. Some is very, like just like a few years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And someone like you, like with more than 50 years of experience. So what I find interesting is no matter the experience is, but like the more senior guests, they have to happen to be, like more better storytelling skill and communication skills. So I think like if we have a good communication and, like storytelling skill, then no matter how experienced you are, you can also tell a very good story about that. So, like sometimes, I have a guest like, she just like about 5 years experience. And I often encourage her to elaborate more about the story you're trying to tell. So, but like for you, it's like you telling all the stories in a very simple way, in a very comprehensive way, and in a very calm way. So that's I said in the beginning, not many people can do that. And I can realize, and I hope like all the audience, they can observe. It's also very good to observe and compare. Like if you have a good skill, what happened? What's you want to be like?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
But we all learn that skill.
Yeah.
We all
learn and practice along the way. Yeah.
Correct. It's just development, and it's get back to what you said about mindset.
Yep.
And it's a growth mindset.
Yep.
That every opportunity is a
Yep.
chance to grow,
Yep.
to learn, to acquire new skills, new knowledge. And the thing I think is important too is that, yes, you go to university and you pick a major,
Yeah.
but that's not what life is all about.
Yeah.
And that technical skill, even if you're the best student at that university, at that level, that's not going to get you the job.
Yeah.
What's going to get you the job is everything else.
Yeah.
The soft skills,
Yeah.
the emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
The body language, all those things. That's what gets you the job.
Yeah.
3 things happen at an interview.
Yeah.
Whether it's informal or formal.
Yeah.
Whether it's the final interview, whether it's a screening interview. People are going to find out. This is what their questioning is trying to determine. Can you do the job? Do you have the skills to do the job? Do you want to do the job? Do you have the motivation to do the job? And the last one is, do I like you? Do I think you can come into our team and be a happy team member?
Yep.
That is the most important one.
Yep.
You could get 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. If you get 1 out of 10, dead.
Gone. Yeah.
If you got to get 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
How do you get them to like you? By being yourself, by not being nervous, by the right body language, by the right voice. All those things are what gets you the job.
And I want to ask you this question is like, should the candidates try to pretend to be 10 out of 10 of, like what the company is like?
Yes. Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
Yes, they can do that. And people do that.
Yeah.
But people, when they're pretending to be something, to fit into something, don't end up being happy in that job.
Yep.
Right. Sometimes it takes 3 months. Sometimes it might take 3 years.
Yeah.
But they won't be happy. Now, some people say, well, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay to me.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Yeah.
Other people can do what they like.
Yeah.
But that's what ends up happening.
Yeah.
They end up not being happy.
Yeah.
Now, you may say that, well, Albert, when you coach people to do well at interview, to tell them to show enthusiasm, to tell them to sit forward, to tell them to speak up, they're pretending. No, they're not. They're not pretending. They're learning how to be themselves, how to demonstrate who they are.
Yeah.
And that's alerting them to something that they weren't aware of. Now that they're aware of, they can use that as a tool, but not to pretend to be someone else.
Yeah.
And that's very important.
Yeah. I think so many people have good things, but they don't know how to express. So I think the way you are coaching them is like giving them the tools to be the better version of themselves, not to be someone else. The better version of themselves is still their self. They only bring out what you have inside, but they cannot speak. They can speak, but they don't have the mindset to speak it out.
Some of it is cultural because they come from a background where don't speak until you're spoken to.
Yep.
All right, that's cultural.
Yep.
So part of when you're studying before you get your job, to try and adapt to the culture, you should do it while you're studying.
Yeah, I understand.
Not to wait for the last 2-3 months before you're looking for a job.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't happen in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Don't lose your own culture, because that's the worst thing, to lose your own culture.
Yep.
Just adapt, modify.
Yep.
And sometimes, like what I used to do, when you're with these people, you try and be like them, if that you can be like them. When you're with these people, you be like them.
Yep. Yeah, I think the one of the amazing word that I love about coaching is, and I work with a lot of people right now, is we co-create.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring the coaching skill, you trying to teach me all the things, the tools that I need to do. I already have my culture, my experience, a lot of things in myself. How we can co-create,
yes,
so we can live better in the world, right?
Yeah.
So like I have my culture, but like how can I communicate my culture to mix in the new working environment, right? How can I bring my culture to support my work and my colleague and everything? So actually, I used to work. My boss was from India, and what I learned fantastic is many culture have similar things.
Yes.
It's end up all things like if you are more senior than me, then I have to be more humble, and I have to be, like very respect you.
Yes.
Similar to a lot of things in different cultures. You have to respect others, like how do you treat others. A lot of things. I think all the religions and all the culture teaching the same thing, and so yeah, we don't losing the self when we evolve.
Yes.
We just become a better version.
We're not going to lose ourselves. We're evolving.
Yeah, I think great. We cover a lot of great topics today. I would like to, ask you more, but I think like it's gonna be too long podcast, and maybe we save the best for the next one.
Okay.
And anything before we wrap up, you would like to share one final thing to the audience? I think this podcast, like I have a lot of audience. After a few episodes we posting, the students, the fresher, the senior, their parents, some founder of the company I invest, future company I invest.
Yes.
So a lot of things, but like we are focusing on the international students and the fresher in Australia, and hopefully in the future we expand to other countries. So anything you would like to share for the final thing?
That's a good question. I was thinking about the answer on my trip inside, coming to the city today.
Yeah.
I think listening to this podcast and all the things we said are all very important for graduates. What I want graduates, near graduates to know is they've demonstrated courage, purpose already. That's a great thing to have. That's something that they have more than locals have. Locals have it easy.
Yep.
So they've already demonstrated that. To take that courage with them and their self-belief, and then to use their network and coaching to take it to the next level. To have that as a foundation, that they've already done something that's really, really good, and they're not in a position of weakness, they're in a position of strength. And that change of mindset will help them be successful, whatever successful means. And it means different things to different people. And getting that first job is like climbing Mount Everest and putting that flag on top of that mountain. I've done it. But you know what? There's another mountain afterwards.
Yep.
All right? But we want to do that because we can do that, we'll be able to do that.
Yep. Yeah, great. So again, thank you for coming today. I hope like I don't disturbing your personal day.
No.
It's your working day, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's all good.
Yeah. So thank you for volunteer to join the podcast. I look forward to having you again here, and I hope I can pick up your mind and bring to the platform a lot of things I want to do with you. And I wish you all the health and success to you and your family.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this. It's been really good, and I wish you every success as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Albert. Thank you.
All the best.
Yeah.